dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. In today's edition, we are dedicating the episode to the latest development in the Gaza Strip. In a significant diplomatic meeting, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi urged the international community to take decisive action to end the war in the Gaza Strip. During the discussion with CIA Director William Burns in Cairo, President Sisi reiterated Egypt's firm stance against the Israeli military operation in the region and emphasized the importance of delivering humanitarian aid to the people suffering in the Gaza Strip. More details in the following story.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has urged the international community to assume its responsibilities in halting the war in Gaza, reaffirming Egypt's rejection of Israeli military operations in the Strip. Al-Sisi made his remarks in a meeting with CIA Director William Burns in Cairo on Tuesday. Burns and the White House coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa arrived in Cairo earlier this week to engage in a new round of talks with Egyptian and Israeli officials to reach a ceasefire in Gaza. During their meeting, Al-Sisi underlined the need to ensure adequate delivery of relief aid to Gaza in a way that truly alleviates the humanitarian suffering of Palestinian people in the Strip. The president called for effective and serious steps to prevent the conflict spillover across the region. He also highlighted the need for implementing a two-state solution within the framework of a just and comprehensive settlement of the Palestinian cause. Burns commended the Egyptian efforts for achieving a ceasefire and ensuring humanitarian aid delivery to Gaza. The CIA director also expressed his appreciation for Egypt's responsible positions that strongly push forward towards establishing peace, security, and development regionally and globally. Burns conveyed President Joe Biden's greetings to Sisi and affirmed the U.S. appreciation of its strategic partnership with Egypt. Meanwhile, Sisi stressed the importance of continued coordination between Egypt and the U.S. to support regional and global security and stability.
Our dear viewers, to shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Milad Momtaz, our international relations expert. Dr. Momtaz, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Sir, how do you see the latest developments on the ground regarding the developments in the Gaza Strip with the latest visit by the head of the intelligence, Mr. William Burns, to Egypt and his meeting with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi?
Actually, the situation, regarding Gaza has become very critical nowadays. It's been almost like 9 months now. Very little has been done to help out our brethren Palestinians, in there, despite the fact that their suffering has been going on for a long time.
Indeed.
And the most important thing is that we have to take action. I believe it's time now to take action. We've been talking about it. We have been discussing the situation from different aspects, different sides. But I think it's time now to move into a different area. The international community has been watching this, which is actually, it's unacceptable in my mind by all measures. We need actually the international community to take active steps. And on the other hand, Egypt has been trying very strongly and has been urging the international community to step into this, and has been, even warning the international community, not only asking or calling on the international community to take action. No, we have been warning the international community that not acting, not taking active steps towards tackling this very important issue will have very negative results, not only in the short term, but in the long term as well.
Indeed. Sir, also the Qatari capital, Doha, is hosting a Quad meeting, including representatives from Egypt, the United States, Qatar and Israel, on Gaza. The meeting again is aiming to bridge the differences and find a common ground between Hamas and Israel to reach a ceasefire. How do you see and what are this meeting, and what are your expectations regarding the outcome of this meeting? We should be optimistic that we might find a different solution here or to reach any consensus between the two sides.
Actually, let me first, shed light on, the American plan, the initiative itself. We've seen, what happened at the Security Council and the proposed plan by the United States of America, which has actually consisted of the 3 phases. We have seen this. And actually, I wouldn't say that's a new plan. And actually, most of the ideas which have been suggested, have been, put in that kind of plan, have been echoing. Egypt, our country, has been making such suggestions. Most of the suggestions that mentioned in the plan, I think Egypt has been talking about such ideas. Most important thing that United States of America, who has been very much against ceasefire at the Security Council for the last, let's say, 7-8 months, a couple of weeks ago, decided actually to change the whole thing. And they actually said, and that's all because of the pressures from the international community. They decided to change the whole thing. And the United States of America surprisingly adopted this 3-phase plan. I think, in my mind, despite the fact that we've been actually asking for this for a long time, but we should support this actually plan coming from the United States of America. Wholeheartedly, I get that. However, we're not talking about the plan once again. Let me actually go back to what I said earlier. We need actually to put that plan into action. It's not only about some words that we hear from, some countries at the Security Council, and when it comes to implementing such words, we wouldn't find anything. And let me ask a straightforward question. When those Palestinians who are suffering for the last 9 months ask the international community, what have you done to help us out to stop this aggression? We would tell them that, okay, how about the plan coming from the United States of America? Or we actually should tell them that, you know what, we have an action plan, a decisive action plan. Okay, tomorrow we'll be doing this, after tomorrow we'll be doing that. I need something coherent, something solid, something concrete to be there and to be promised, not only verbally. That's something which is very important. Palestinians have been verbally promised so many things. But when it comes, for example, providing them food, providing them the basic necessities, with all due respect to whatever initiative we've heard of, we've seen very little till now. We've seen very little till now. And they have been suffering, they have been displaced all around this very small area called Gaza, unfortunately.
Indeed, sir. Also, we have to highlight here the recent regarding the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip, which is very alarming. How do you see the situation on the ground now?
Okay, I think it goes beyond words. Because we've been talking about a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. I get this. I fully understand this. However, when we look at the figures, we're nearing 40,000 people dead, tens of thousands of people wounded. And if we look at, for example, the latest figures, for example, about, mutilation, and whatsoever, about how many kids, children who have been killed, about how many women have been killed. And by the way, this all goes against the international law, which actually, the entire world, the international community has been bragging about what international law. We need to see international law in action. The figures, on the other hand, concerning the figures, have we actually heard anything about, for example, water that actually those Palestinians need on a daily basis? How about medical supplies? How about hospitals? Hospitals are being targeted by Israel. And we have never seen this in the world. We target those people who need medical care, and we say that, okay, you know what, because we are going after militants. That's unacceptable.
Of course.
Those people in Palestine, the humanitarian crisis actually are beyond words, as I said, and action should be taken as soon as possible.
Indeed. Sir, what role do you see here the international community is playing in alleviating the suffering of the Palestinians? And we are seeing yet the role even of the international organizations helping the people in Palestine curbed by the international community, and I'm talking here in particular about UNRWA role. So what's your take on that?
Okay, straightforwardly, there are so many international organizations wanting to take part in helping out Palestinians in Gaza. We get this. Wholeheartedly, we get this, and we appreciate this. However, because of the long list of obstacles coming from Israel, and they have been doing this intentionally for the last 9 months. It's not being done haphazardly or coincidentally. No, I can't believe this by all means. They've been doing this. For example, a simple one, despite the fact that it's a very crucial example. Trucks going in Gaza. We have been hearing and seeing, in the news and the reports coming from, international organizations that some of the trucks have been sabotaged by some radical Israelis, which is unacceptable. What are you doing? The trucks and the support, for example, food supplies or whatever, they are meant to be helping out those poor Palestinians. And you would actually do this intentionally. And by the way, some of those movements and some of those people have been punished by the United States of America, which I know that Israel is so mad about this, and they don't accept this. And I think it's the first time that United States of America has done that to get some movements and some people punished in Israel because of their deeds. So we have international organizations wanting to do this. What's missing in my mind is the political will, unified political will of the international community. That's what we lack. It's not only about some international organization, for example, in the field of medicine or food, like, for example, international, kitchen or whatsoever. No, I'm talking about political will of the systems, for example, like in North America, which is the situation of the Americans is so bizarre and actually it's highly questionable. On one hand, they have been actually telling everyone in the world that we want to help out Palestinians because of we get the suffering they have been through this. We get this. On the other hand, they have been providing Israel with the latest weapons and most sophisticated ones, in the world, which is, I think, that highlights and poses so many questions.
Of course. Dr. Milad Momtaz, our international relations expert, thank you so much, sir, for your very precious input. It was a pleasure having you with us. And Cape Town is grappling with the aftermath of severe storms that have destroyed nearly 1,000 homes in the informal settlement, displacing approximately 4,000 residents as the city prepares for a week of torrential rain, strong winds and flooding. The local authorities and aid organizations are mobilizing to provide essential relief to the hardest hit areas. More details.
South African authorities and an aid organization said as the city braces for a week of damaging storms that nearly 1,000 homes in informal settlements in Cape Town, South Africa have been destroyed by winds displacing around 4,000 people. South African weather authorities said Monday that Cape Town and surrounding areas are expected to be hit by multiple cold fronts until at least Friday, bringing torrential rain, strong winds and flooding. Cape Town's disaster coordination team has been on alert since the first front arrived last Thursday. The worst hit areas are expected to be the poor informal settlements on the edge of South Africa's second biggest city. Thousands have been displaced in Kailicha's township on Cape Town's outskirts after strong winds destroyed homes and other structures. The Gift of the Givers local aid organization said it provided 10,000 meals and 3,000 blankets to displaced people in Kailicha over the weekend.